So a trailer for Kingdom Hearts 4 just dropped, and I have a lot to say about it, so let's get started. So first of all, it looks beautiful. Regardless of how you feel about his design, you have to admit that Sora looks like a fucking angel in this trailer. Like, just looking at this makes my eyes happy. A lot of people don't like the way Sora looks in this trailer, and that's fair enough. This is the only Kingdom Hearts game where he looks like he was directly ripped from Final Fantasy, but I love it. I've always enjoyed the Final Fantasy aspects of Kingdom Hearts more than the Disney parts, and seeing the art style look less cartoony was definitely a W for me. But on the other hand, a huge part of the fanbase does not like this change in art direction, and I can see why. Me personally, I enjoy the more realistic look, but for a game that takes place in the same universe as Mickey Mouse, it makes sense why they're upset. But who knows, maybe with the more realistic art style we might be seeing characters from shit like Star Wars or Marvel. That might be an upside. Yeah, the backgrounds could definitely look better, but the game is too early in development for me to hit on the graphics, so I'll just relax for now. I still do think the city landscape looks great regardless. But while we're on the topic of backgrounds, the setting of this trailer is interesting. Based on the dialogue and just by looking at the area, it seems like this game, or at the very least this segment of the game, will take place in the city. And me personally, I think that's cool as fuck. It kinda happened in Dream Drop distance, but the idea of running around the city with modern buildings and architecture is dope as hell to me. If this game actually lets you explore the place and doesn't just have you glued to the ground, then this part of the game could be very enjoyable. But once again, I don't know if the fans would like this. See, my whole thing is that I want Kingdom Hearts to succeed. I genuinely have this game's best interests in mind. And if we're all being honest, Kingdom Hearts 3 was pretty fucking bad, and it left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths. Pause, but it genuinely could have been great. I'm rooting for Kingdom Hearts 4 because I know how much fun you can have when you're playing a good Kingdom Hearts game. But if the fans aren't fucking with it from day one, then that's a really big problem. I can definitely see people not liking the change in scenery and just wanting to go back to exploring Disney worlds, which is fair enough, I guess. Its ties to Disney is one of the reasons Kingdom Hearts is as big as it is, but at the end of the day, this is all speculation. For all we know, none of this shit will even make it into the game, so I advise people not be too loyal to their opinions on this. Story-wise, I don't really have much to say. If I started talking about anything story-related, I'd get sidetracked and this video would end up being 20 minutes long. But the scene at the end with Donald and Goofy was interesting, and that shit at the beginning about Sora being in another world was intriguing. Maybe he was transported to a different, more realistic world without all this Disney shit. That could probably explain the scene at the end of the trailer. But again, who knows? This is all speculation, but it's good that the trailer has me talking about it. Now time to talk about the actual gameplay. This shit looked smooth as fuck. I talked earlier about Sora moving through the city, but some of that was shown here and it looks great. The way he was maneuvering through the buildings and rubble was sleek, and I hope it stays that way. The small piece of aerial combat we did see looked good, but it wasn't really enough for me to form an opinion. It looked like back-to-back game cutscenes if I'm being honest, so I don't really have much to say about it. After the massive disappointment that was Kingdom Hearts 3, I think that this game has a lot to prove, but I also think Square Enix is capable of living up to our expectations. This trailer, along with some other things, is connected to the Kingdom Hearts 20th anniversary. I think there was something to do with a mobile game. I don't know, and I don't really care, but the fact Kingdom Hearts has been going on for this long is fucking crazy. I grew up with these games, and watching it develop into a beloved video game franchise was cool as hell to me. It really meant a lot. I do have a lot of hope in Kingdom Hearts 4 being great, even though I probably shouldn't, and I'll be making a video about it as soon as it comes out in like fucking 2029. I want to build my channel around anime and games like Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts, and it's part of the reason I have such a connection to the series. And it's also part of the reason why I believe in this game so much, even though I really should not, bruh. But anyway, Phantasy Star Online video coming in a couple days. I just got back from a trip from Spain, and it was basically a small break from YouTube, but just like the Kodak Black album, I'm back for everything. Just like and subscribe, man. I was getting turned up every fucking day in Spain, which is why my voice is lost. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.